So just how accurate are apps like Windy, and should we as pilots be using them when we're planning our flights?
Yeah, view at 200 feet.
Yeah, we're going to touch one cloud. Yes.
This is going to be so disappointing if we don't go through the right cloud on this trip.
Well, I'm flying to the Wollongong Airshow this morning, and I've been using Windy all week to try and get a big picture view of what the weather for this 2-hour flight to the east coast of Australia might actually be like. So let's see how accurate this thing actually is.
Moorabbin, AWS aerodrome weather. Wind calm. Temperature 14. Cloud clear below 2,000 feet.
For the 2.5-hour flight across southeast Australia today, it's not just good airmanship to check the weather forecast, it's actually a legal requirement to obtain weather information from an officially recognised weather source.
Visibility 10 kilometres. Dew point 10.
So what exactly constitutes an officially recognised weather source in aviation? Well, here in Australia at least, our regulations say that before you go on a flight, the pilot in command must study the authorised weather forecasts and authorised weather reports. And if you follow the footnote, an authorised weather report is something produced by the Bureau of Meteorology here in Australia. So any weather information we want to use for actual flight planning, we need to get through the official sources, either direct from the Bureau of Meteorology or through Air Services Australia, who pull in information from the Bureau of Meteorology. And similar principles are followed elsewhere in the world. In the US, the FAA uses products from the National Weather Service and the Aviation Weather Centre. In Europe, EASA-approved operations rely on meteorological providers like Eurocontrol and the National Met offices. And whilst these third-party apps are a fantastic way for long-term planning, for looking at trends and just building a bigger weather picture of what might be happening when you want to fly, when it comes to operational decision-making, things like looking at whether you need a legal alternate, icing conditions, weather minima for approaches, or whether you should take off at all, you cannot get that sort of information from Windy. You have to get it from the sources officially recognised by the regulator in your region.
Melbourne Centre, Echo Yankee Zulu is IFR 4 Wollongong, on the ground Moorabbin, taxiing for departure, runway 35 right to POB.
Echo Yankee Zulu, morning, Squawkers 4342, additional traffic, Romeo Uniform Hotel, taxiing, departure same way.
4342 and copy Romeo Uniform Hotel, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Because we're departing so early in the morning, the tower is actually closed at this time of the day. So as well as speaking to Melbourne Centre for our IFR departure and clearance instructions, we also have to make broadcasts on the local frequency so other traffic operating around Moorabbin at the same time as us also know what we're up to.
Moorabbin traffic, IFR Cirrus Echo Yankee Zulu is taxiing for departure, runway 35 right, Moorabbin.
It is slightly higher workload to talk on and monitor two frequencies, but thankfully on today's flight I do have Evan on board, who's also a pilot and therefore can help with some of the flight duties, including being an extra pair of eyes for traffic lookout.
Sorry Evan, you're not even in the frame.
And to test how accurate Windy is for predicting weather, a couple of days before we flew, this is what it was showing as conditions for our departure. You can see a slight north-northwesterly wind, 13 knots gusting 26, 15 degrees for temperature, and basically showing clear skies. Comparing that to the actual weather conditions from the Aerodrome Weather Service.
Wind calm. Temperature 14. Cloud clear below 2,000 feet.
And on this particular instance, you can see the temperature is almost spot on. The cloud level as well is really accurate. Ironically, the thing that did differ a little bit from the forecast from Windy was actually, well, it was the wind.
I want on final, all clear. Thank you. Moorabbin CTAF, Echo Yankee Zulu is entering and rolling runway 35 right, upwind departure to the northeast, climbing 2,500. Moorabbin traffic. Alright, good to go, Evan? Ready to go. Okay, power coming in. Power is full. Temperatures and pressures are good. Airspeed is coming alive on both. 60 knots. 70 knots. No runway. Nose down. Flaps go away. Make a right turn onto track. And Echo Yankee Zulu departing Moorabbin, time 10, passing 1,400.
Echo Yankee Zulu, you're identified, you're cleared Shellharbour via Leakin planned route, climb to 9,000.
Cleared Shellharbour, planned route, climb 9,000, Echo Yankee Zulu.
As I continue to climb us up to 9,000 feet, I actually want to go back a couple of days and show you how I do use Windy for high-level, big-picture weather planning. And what I mean by that is when I know I want to go flying, but I do have the option of a couple of days that I could do that flight on, Windy is brilliant for helping make that decision.
2 days out from the flight, I'm just here in my office having a look at Windy and doing a bit of a plan for which day that we should be leaving. We're leaning towards the Saturday. If you look at our departure from Melbourne, you can see the weather on Saturday. It looks a lot more favourable than the weather does on Sunday. It actually looks pretty lousy. And for our destination in Wollongong, The same kind of thing applies. The weather on Saturday looks better, and whilst it's not too bad on Sunday, there still is a little bit more rain expected around as well. A couple of considerations though, we are leaving early in the morning, and looking at windy at the moment for between 7 and 10, you can see this little sort of low cloud symbol, and it does look like there's some low cloud across Wollongong for most of the day, and a lot of that's because of this onshore wind that will be blowing all of the moist air and condensing it over the land. You can see for Wollongong here, yeah, there's quite a lot of cloud around the coast as well. So I will be expecting when we're going to start our approach into Wollongong that we'll be flying into cloud, and probably landing, well, probably doing an instrument approach into Wollongong, to be honest, at that time. For our departure, looks pretty good out of Melbourne and looks pretty clear from a cloud perspective all the way through to about just before we reach Canberra, when the cloud should pick up.
Echo Yankee Zulu, contact centre 125.2. Bye.
125.2, Echo Yankee Zulu, see ya. Melbourne Centre, Echo Yankee Zulu, maintaining 9,000.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Melbourne Centre.
Sometimes you want them to give you something to do, like a track deviation or a readback or a QA direct. Yeah, because then it gives you something to do, but...
Could ask for direct.
Direct Wollongong.
And Echo Yankee Zulu, area connect 1022.
1022, Echo Yankee Zulu. Hey, we've got something to do. You still awake?
Only just.
And now we're flying into the low sun as well.
Yeah, we're just overhead orbiting at the moment.
So what have we got at Wollongong, Evan? We've got... Wait for that to update.
That's 1794, descending 502.
Yeah, few at 200 feet. That's the TAF until 9 o'clock though, so we're here. Yeah, we're here 9 till 6.
Oh, scattered 1500.
Scattered 1500.
That's a bit more pleasant.
Our minima. So we come in from the south. We got 1240. What's our initial? So 4,300. So we should be in cloud when we go to the initial fix, and then descend out of the cloud.
Which direction are you thinking of drawing the approach from?
Do you know, we were just briefing that literally now. I haven't got the updated weather for Wollongong, so I can't see what the winds are, but based on the TAF, it's possibly going to be easy going from the south. So 3-4.
Oh, I'll plan on it at this stage, but yeah, we'll just see what it's like when we get closer.
Yeah, no worries. I'm trying to update the weather as well, so if I get an updated MEDAR at least, I'll let you know if I get that. If you get one at your end, let us know as well.
Will do.
I'm also going to listen out on the Unicom, because if they're giving an active runway, then we can just take the straight-in approach that way, and I'm happy to go north and come back in. It also helps from a spacing and awareness perspective.
Yeah, easy enough. We'll see what it does.
Okay.
One day out now. We've already departed in the video that you're watching, but for me that's going to be tomorrow, so there's a bit of time travel going on here. It's Wollongong's arrival that I'm most interested in because of that low cloud that we saw earlier in the week. So if I click on Wollongong, I can see for Saturday at the moment the temperature is 14 degrees, the dew point is 13 degrees, and when they're close together like that, it means that there's going to be low cloud. Now here in windy you can see it says 13k. I only have the upper overcast layer cloud base. I don't have any cloud base indication low down on the ground. But because we are one day out, one thing I can do here in Australia at least is go to one of our key international airports, for example Sydney, because they have a terminal aerodrome forecast which is usually valid for around 18 hours. So tomorrow morning, I can see what the conditions are going to be like in Sydney, which is just up the coast from Wollongong. And if I scroll down, here we go, Friday, 10 p.m. to Saturday, 10 a.m. That's the slot when I should be landing. We've got moderate VFR, good visibility, but the clouds, this is the bit I'm interested in, scattered at 1,500, broken at 3,000. I can also check the winds as well, northwesterly winds 320, which gives me an indication that the runway in use is probably going to be runway 34. But I do have this tempo as well, so temporarily from 7 o'clock, clouds are going to get lower, so broken at 800 feet. And that could be interesting because if you look at the plate for Wollongong, you can actually see our minimums there are 1,240. So it does mean because of that tempo here in Australia, we need to carry enough holding fuel. If there's a tempo, it's a 60-minute holding fuel on top of what we already have for the flight. If I can't get in, I'll have to go mist, hold somewhere, let that pass, and let the cloud base lift, and then I should be able to get in next time round.
Echo Yankee Zulu request.
Echo Yankee Zulu.
We are flying into the Wollongong Airshow, and I know that they've got a Unicom down there who will be operating a runway direction, but we're not able to get hold of them until we fly the approach. Are you guys aware of which runway direction they're operating at the moment?
Echo Yankee Zulu, no, we're not, and yeah, probably couldn't get that information for you either.
Yep, just thought I'd check, but understood. Thanks, Echo Yankee Zulu. Worth a try. Alright, so we're going to go in on runway 34, so we're going to be coming in from the south. Wollongong Sierra Juliet is going to be our initial approach fix, so at some point on the leg between Canberra and Wollongong, that's when we're going to ask air traffic control for any traffic and deviate off our track and start the RMP, then Sierra India.
Uniform Hotel.
After Sierra India, we're going to then basically be at 4,300 and then start our descent down, and we should get clear around 2,000 feet. We're probably thinking about 2,000 feet of cloud. Minimums 1,240, so we can put that into Echo Yankee Zulu here. And our missed approach is a right-hand turn tracking direct Wollongong Sierra Hotel and climbing 3,700. So we'll bug that when we get a little bit closer.
Yankee Zulu, is it Wollongong November Alpha that you're looking for?
Negative, we're going to go in from the south and we'll be tracking to Wollongong Sierra Juliet.
Echo Yankee Zulu, understood. You re-cleared direct to Wollongong Sierra Juliet, maintaining 9,000. The next sector will have some descent for you.
Cleared direct Sierra Juliet at 9,000, and thanks for that, Echo Yankee Zulu. So I can now go home, procedure, activate approach, which should turn us to Sierra Juliet. When I was looking at Windy for this flight beforehand over the last couple of days, the cloud thickness and base and amount was a lot more than I think we're actually going to see on this flight coming in.
Right.
The cloud tops were higher from what I saw, the cloud base was lower. There was a lot more moisture being pulled in off the water, but it looks a bit wispier like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
When we get in. Still good that we're doing the instrument approach though. It's going to be a bit fiddly I think otherwise to get down. It depends actually. We could get to the coast and it could just be completely clear.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I go make this whole video about weather and there won't be any weather.
That can be the third act is, okay.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, when ready, clear to leave controlled airspace descending. There's no reported IFR traffic.
When ready, clear to leave controlled airspace on descent and copy the traffic. Thanks, Echo Yankee Zulu. I'll leave it a few more minutes still.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you do all this preparation and you actually get there and, you know, it's...
Yeah, and it's perfect.
Perfect, but you're prepared if it's not.
So what you're saying is the moral of the story could be it's better to plan for the worst and expect the best.
Exactly.
Alright, so I'm going to take us down.
Lovely.
5,400. And wind the vertical speed down. You know what, Evan? I might have timed this just perfectly, which is sheer luck more than anything else, because by the time we get to 25 miles out, we should be at 5,400. That's 1,000 to go.
Love it.
And then I could just go straight down to 4,300. So if anyone asks, that was
absolutely
pure maths, calculated,
Yep.
just using brain power.
Yep.
That would be perfect. Obviously, it goes without saying though, if you can be an extra pair of eyes,
Obviously.
just
Yeah, absolutely. If
Case.
I can help in any way.
oh
let me know.
please, yeah, you already are, but yeah, if I miss anything, just tell me. Alright, well let's do some pre-landing checks. Brakes are good, undercarriage is down and locked, mixture, we're already lean pretty much, so, enriching, so we'll go forage. Fuel pump would go on now at this point. Come back on the power a little bit because otherwise we'll be racing down. Which is a good, flaps will set, pitot heat's on because we're coming into moisture. And are you secure on the right, Evan?
I'm ready to go.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to touch one cloud.
Yes. This is going to be so disappointing if we don't go through the right cloud on this trip.
The valley, which is perfect.
Good, glide slopes coming in. Right, start slowing us down.
Shellharbour traffic, Yankee Quebec Bravo, now turning base runway 16, Shellharbour.
There you go, that's the other Cirrus.
Shellharbour Unicom, Cirrus Echo Yankee Zulu, IFR is approaching Wollongong Sierra Juliet for the RMP 34, then we'll be circling approach for runway 16, estimate circuit, time 34, Wollongong.
Mike Zulu Foxtrot, Chieftain is now
Echo Yankee Zulu, contact Sydney Centre 124 day
base runway 16.
12455, Echo Yankee Zulu here.
Shellharbour traffic, Cirrus Yankee Quebec Bravo is now final runway 16, Shellharbour.
Sydney radar, Echo Yankee Zulu is on the RMP runway 34 for Shellharbour.
Echo Yankee Zulu, g'day, traffic Yankee Quebec Bravo, Cirrus operating within the vicinity of Shellharbour. You can cancel SAR on the circuit or on the ground by phone.
Well, thank you. Copy Yankee Quebec Bravo, and we'll probably cancel in the circuit once we clear of cloud. Echo Yankee Zulu.
Echo Yankee Zulu.
Alright, so we're on the RMP now, Evan, officially. We are Sierra Juliet 4,300. Next is Sierra India, also 4,300. And Yankee Quebec Bravo, the Cirrus.
Yeah, he's just touching down now.
Excellent.
In fact, he's
That's the only other IFR traffic, yeah?
cleared the runway.
Good, good.
Oh, you know what'll happen.
All stations will Foxtrot Yankee Charlie, 2 minutes to parachute drop. Expect one canopy on 5,000 feet overhead the ocean. All stations Wilson.
Alright, left turn from Sierra India to Sierra Foxtrot, and Sierra Foxtrot minimum is 2,600. Shellharbour Unicom, Echo Yankee Zulu is 10 miles now to the south, 3,600 on descent. We're joining downwind runway 16, Shellharbour.
Unicom copies Echo Yankee Zulu, the chieftain is now on the ground, no other known traffic.
Echo Yankee Zulu, thanks. Evan, it's going to happen. We're going to go through some cloud on this IFR flight across the country.
Minimums.
I'm visual with the airport. Echo Yankee Zulu in the circuit area. Wollongong, cancel SARWatch.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Shellharbour SARWatch terminated. See ya.
See ya. Shellharbour traffic. Echo Yankee Zulu is now joining an extended downwind runway 16, Shellharbour.
Unicom copies, thanks.
Second stage of flight. And Shellharbour traffic. Echo Yankee Zulu is turning base runway 16, full stop, Shellharbour.
Unicom copies, no traffic, one taxiing for departure.
Unicom 8563 holding short, runway 16.
Echo Yankee Zulu backtracking runway 16.
Yeah, copy if you just vacate Charlie there and then follow the marshal as well.
Vacate Charlie and we'll follow Marshall, thanks. Echo Yankee Zulu.
As I landed at Wollongong and we went off to enjoy the airshow, let's just take a final look at how accurately Windy predicted the weather conditions for the airshow itself. You can see from the 1 day out forecast it's showing a slight southerly breeze, about 14 degrees temperature and low cloud. And as you saw on our approach, we had low cloud, a slight breeze from the south, and the temperature was pretty much spot on. And the overcast conditions with a chance of rain during the day, well, that was accurate as well. We didn't actually see any rainfall during the airshow itself, which is obviously a real testament to how useful this technology is for us aviators nowadays. I'm honestly still blown away by how accurate these apps can be. We had a brilliant day at the airshow, and it's obviously so good to be able to fly Echo Yankee Zulu back to events like this again. If you want to see more general aviation videos like this in the future, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, thank you as always for watching and for your ongoing support, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.